Hey everyone, how's it going? Trackmaster Tehachapi here again with another layout update. There has been a significant amount of work done to the layout since the last update, a lot of it scenery, and I figured I should probably show it off before we get to the actual video you guys wanted. And also, might as well give some updates on a few projects I've been working on in the meantime. So without further ado, I won't hold you any longer with this intro, let's get right into the updates. Let's start off with the update that everybody wants, the big boy. As you can see, I've found an old Emily tender that I customized several years ago that I'll be able to use as the big boy's powered tender that'll push it along its excursions. I'll just have to 3D print a shell to go over it, and the big boy has a tender and I'll resume work on it. However, there is a small problem with the big boy itself. The shell itself is really light, and since the trucks don't like turning that much, sometimes the shell will jump the tracks on curves and switches, so I'll have to change the entire design to actually work and be compatible with regular Trackmaster and Playrail accessories. Another little project that I haven't mentioned is a ballast tamper. This is just a simple little Harsco Mark IV ballast tamper that I made to be some scenery on the layout. It doesn't roll, it doesn't have any function, it just sits and looks pretty to fill the maintenance of way sidings at Bealville and Caliente. However, speaking of Bealville, as you can see, there's quite a bit new scenery in the area, and some of the most prominent of that scenery, all these fence poles lined up. As you can see, I took a bit of thread and small wooden posts and just glued them together and put them along the layout to work as a fence. This is effectively the strategy that I'll be using everywhere. There's also a custom pile of concrete ties, and little yellow Amazon bins that came from robbed trains. You can see these all about in Tehachapi, and I figured that since I've collected a few of them and brought them home, it would be kinda funny to scatter them across the layout like the real mountains, just as a little fun thing to look out for in the background. Another project that I'll have to take up soon is probably destroying most of the front of Cliff. You can't really see it that much on camera, but the track bed and ground in general has been sagging a bit because of all the glue used on the dirt. The cardboard's become a bit soggy and no longer has the stability it used to have. However, right next door, Woodford has seen one of the biggest changes to the layout. As you can see, I finally 3D printed and designed a Highway 58 overpass to mimic the one seen at the real Woodford. This is nothing special, it's just a simple little overpass I can put Hot Wheels cars on for scenery. But that, combined with the fence and yellow bins in the area, just brings the whole scene of Woodford to life. Tunnel 10 on top of the loop has been temporarily glued down. I say temporarily because at some point I'm gonna have to change it out with a better Tunnel 10. And then after that, I'm of course gonna have to remove it because I want to downgrade the layout through different eras back in time. A small update on cable, I've added some ties and a broken signal to mimic that one derailment that happened several years back. And also there's gonna be a simple 2D mountain backdrop to separate cable from Tehachapi. Speaking of Tehachapi, there's been a lot of work going on. A new water tower has been put in with lights inside, and basically the entire north side of the main street has been finished. And of course I'm gonna have to drill holes in the real estate building and Conan's Country Bakery to add lights. As you can see on layer 1, I've got the Woodland Scenics Just Plug lighting system. This easy little system has worked marvels for Tehachapi and allows me to have nighttime lights for the buildings. So, in the dark, I can just turn the lights off in my room, and I can even run trains at night, which I think is pretty neat. I'm still working on all the buildings on the other side of the main street. Those are currently in the works, with the gift shop and 2 stores across the street from the depot currently being modeled. And maybe a Love's will be added. And right next door, the Helix is being replaced right now as I edit this video. The goal of the bottom track is to disappear behind a fake mountains to represent Bina and Ilman, and this little siding to be the bottom of Sandcut where trains will meet and disappear behind hills to go up the Helix. But that's really about all I can say for the layout until the next video, so thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want, stay safe, and have a heritage unit. See you all in the next video. Bye bye!
Burns.